So this is the Hyperkin Retron 5. Is it a jack of all trades, or is it a master of none? Let's figure this out, shall we? So I figured I needed to have spent a significant amount of time with this console before I kind of shared my view, and I think it's been well over a year since I've had this. So we're going to start with some gripes I have with the console, and then we'll kind of gradually move into what I think is quite cool about it. So for those that don't know, the Hyperkin Retron 5 is a multiple cartridge system that allows you to play your original hardware in the console, which is really cool. So it supports Sega Genesis slash Sega Mega Drive games, Super Nintendo, Nintendo Entertainment System, Famicom, and Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance cartridges. And you can get this extension cartridge, which is like a little bit more expense, but you can plug in your Sega Master System games, your Game Gear games, and your Sega Game Card games. So the first thing that really annoyed me about this console is the fact that you can't just insert what games you want to play in the machine and select which one, because it comes up with this error: multiple cartridges inserted. Like, why can't I just choose which one? So like, I've got Game Boy Advance inserted here, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, Nintendo Entertainment System. Like, I should be able to, like, if you look on the left of the screen here, there's all these symbols of the consoles that you can play. So you've got GBA, Famicom, NES, SNES, and Genesis. So why can't I just select one of those from the side of the screen? I don't know. Maybe that was like a future thing to do, but they haven't done it. I don't know. You can also put in SD cards in the back of the console to, like, for saves, and I'm assuming patches for games. So haven't really delved into that at all. Another thing that really frustrates me is the controllers. So if you look on the side here, you've got Sega Genesis, Nintendo Entertainment System, and SNES. And then you got them on this side as well for player 2. SNES, NES, and Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. Okay, so what's so bad about that? Well, unfortunately, the Sega Master System controller doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work. I've tried plugging it in. I can't even get through the menu without, there's just no support for this at all. I can't get through the menus with it. So, and yeah, I haven't got it plugged in right now, but when I do, like, I'll show you what happens. So I plug this in. Cool, it's all in. It's all good. I control this with this. That's fine, that works. But, like, obviously I need to get rid of some of these cartridges. Right, it should be able to work with Mario Bros. For the NES. Mario Bros. Is loading, which is good, but I can't press any of these buttons because none of them register as the A button for the Mega Drive controller. And then you've got this thing, which is the official Hyperkin Retron 5 controller. It works fine. I would have liked a D-pad as opposed to a stick that makes clicky noises. I mean, it's not like terribly distracting or anything. It's just, if I'm recording gameplay and I want a functional controller, obviously, this is a little bit more functional than the retro ones. Just because, it's newer technology. It's just kind of annoying having the ticking and the clicking in the background when you're trying to record your voice and also record your gameplay. So that is something to consider. The buttons also click. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but it's not like really off-putting. If you just want to use it to play, then obviously it's fine for that. Not sure what these buttons here do. You've got select, home, and start. At the moment, it's not charged, so it's not lighting up, but sometimes these light up. Okay, so I now have both the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive and Super Nintendo controllers plugged in to player one. So you don't have to, like, you can customize which ones you want to use. So if you go down to settings. Alright, so once you're in the settings, you go down to controllers and go to controller to player mapping. Press A on the controller you're using, and here where it says system playing, this is very important, right? See how it says Genesis? We're playing Mario Bros for the NES, so yeah, this is not obviously a Sega Genesis game. So always make sure that you have this under the right profile. So go across to NES/Famicom, and right now it says Genesis controller, which is the one we want to use. But because we have the Genesis controller and the SNES controller both plugged into player one's side of the console, we can just press A on the Super Nintendo controller and it'll change it to SNES. Or if you want to change it back, just hit A on the Sega Genesis controller and it'll change it back. Right, so it's really important that you make sure you have the right profile set for the system playing, because if you completely customize the button layout for, I don't know, for if say instance the GBA and you're trying to customize it for the NES, it's not going to work. So yeah, and all the time you spent is just going to be a real waste of time. So alright, it's just this really frustrates me though, because like it's been done better. And that's where we'll leave off with button mapping. So we'll go to press A on this. Now, in my opinion, the K-Fusion emulator did this perfectly, right? It would prompt you when you go to customize controls. It would prompt you with, and you can use the keys on the keyboard or any controller you have plugged in. And it'll just say, right, press a button for up, press a button for down, press a button for left, press a button for right, A, B, C, start mode. Boom, done. Easy. And it didn't matter if you had whatever controller you had plugged in or, you know, whatever keys you pressed on the keyboard. It was instantly set. Now, this, you have to create a profile. So again, system playing, we are playing the NES, right? Because it's Mario Bros. Controller used, we're using a Sega Genesis controller. That is correct. And it says current profile. Now, we can't change this from default yet because we actually have to set a profile. So go to Manage Profiles, press A on it. Oh boy, alright, go to Add New Profile. And now we have to create a name for the profile. Oh, isn't that exciting? We're just going to call it Mario Bros. It's got like a little keyboard and everything. And you've got to painfully select each letter at a time. And then we're going to go caps or whatever, shift, super, well, not super, just Mario Bros. Okay. I just want to go to done. Thank you. All right. Okay. Yes. Now, when you first create a custom thing, it should look like this. Everything's just unmapped. That's what it will usually look like. So, if you go right, what do we want for the A button for the NES controller? It would be, I want it to be C on the Genesis controller because it just feels a little more comfortable that way for me personally. B will just be B. Start will be start. Select will be mode. Boy, and we don't really need that. We could set it, because we're using a 6-button Genesis controller, but we don't really need to set that at all. So let's just go back. Press B to go back. And as you can see, we've got Mario Bros. Here as the profile. So that's done. We press B to go back once more. And now where it says current profile, we can go across and it'll have Mario Bros. There. Yay! How exciting! So if we go back and then back again and we press A to play the damn game. Wasn't that fun, setting up the controllers? Oh, okay, see this? We'll restart the game. So if you press down and start with any old school controller you're using, it'll come up with the in-game menu. But if you're using the default Hyperkin Retron 5 controller that comes with the console, you can just press the home button and this will pop up. It's much easier with that. But you can actually choose what button layouts you want to pop up the in-game menu, which is quite nice. But we're going to go down to reset. You can also obviously save state, load state, you know, put scan lines on, put on some ugly filters, which we'll get to later. Right, we're going to press A now to restart. And now we're going to press start on the Genesis controller. Does that work? Oh, it looks like it's starting the game. Cool. So yeah, we can move left and right with the D-pad. Good stuff. We can jump with C. Unfortunately, we can't test the B button out because this game doesn't use the B button, you big silly. Right. And this is how you finish the first round, or the first phase, I guess, of Mario Bros. For the NES. So we're going to go back to the in-game menu, go here, and go to settings once more. Now, you might be asking, James, how the hell do I get rid of the Mario Bros. Profile that you just created? Well, you go all the way down, and you go to button mapping once more. Go down to manage profiles. Go to Mario Bros. And you can either edit it, or you can just delete it. So press A to delete, and it's gone. There you go. Wasn't that exciting? Yeah, not exactly my favorite way of customizing the controls. And again, I can't stress enough. Make sure you have the right console set for under the system playing. Because, yeah, I've wasted a lot of time like customizing controls and realizing that I'm using the wrong controller or the wrong bloody system. So, yeah, it's frustrating as all hell. Alright, so now we're going to check out some filters that we discussed earlier. Right, so you can actually go in the in-game menu and check them out here if you so wish, or you can actually just go to the main menu and go all the way down to settings. And yeah, you can actually customize it here as well. But we'll just do it in the in-game thing. So let's have a look at this one, shall we? First one. Now, these all have one thing in common. They're all absolutely fuck ugly. So we got 2 times SAL. I don't know what that means. But let's have a look, shall we? Oh my gosh, look at this. Is this supposed to be like a CRT TV or something? Because it looks very blurry. But it doesn't... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not too bad. I don't know. For like... If you want it to kind of look a little bit blurred like a CRT, it's not too bad. But we've got other ones here too. Go across to Super 2 times SAL. I don't know. Does this look any different? Possibly a little more blurrier, maybe? On the Nintendo Entertainment System games, they look noticeably awful. Ooh, look at Castlevania. Gross. Let's have a look at the gameplay. Oh wait, I can't because I'm using a SNES controller. I mean, hey, I have to set the controllers for this again. For goodness sake. So if we go all the way down, see what's going on, shall we? Controller mapping. SNES. No, I'm using the SNES controller. Why isn't it working? Button mapping? SNES default. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason I can't press start or do anything. Is it because that I have the Mega Drive controller plugged in at the same time? Let's find out. Ah, yes. It seems that because I have the Sega Genesis controller plugged in, it is choosing to use that over the Super Nintendo controller for some reason, even though I have the Super Nintendo profile selected. Wow. All because I wanted to see how disgusting this game looked with a filter. And now, yeah, because I deleted the Mario Bros. NES profile, A is now jump for the Genesis controller, and B is obviously attack. To me, I would prefer C to be jump in this game, but, you know, that's just a proof of how annoying this can be if you just go to change games and all of a sudden your controls are all messed up. Alright. So you may have also noticed that the top of the HUD is cut off, where it says score, player, and enemy. It now says core, layer, and enemy. I'm not sure if this is a Retron 5 issue, or whether it is an issue with my game cartridge itself. I have noticed it has done that on the original Nintendo Entertainment System, at least one of them. I think it might be the NTSC console that I have that does this, but my original Nintendo Entertainment System, I don't think it does. I could be mistaken there, but hard to tell if this is actually a Retron 5 issue or just my cartridge. Which brings me to the video settings. So you've got, if you go to return to main menu, go to settings. There's not really a lot we can do here. Aspect ratio, we've got normal. Stretch, you'd think, would this fix it? No, it just stretches everything out to widescreen. Alright, so that's not very helpful. What if we go to main menu, go to settings, go across to zoom? Alright, let's try this one out. Okay, that looks awful. I'm not sure who would play the game like this. But yeah, that's there, I guess. Go across again to normal. That's the only one that you can really do. Display overscan. I don't know what that is either. Let's turn that on. Force original resolution. Maybe that'll work. Screen size. This is only for like the actual menu of the emulator. Refresh rate. Force 60 Hertz. Okay. Let's go. Let's try this out. Whoa. Okay. Okay, that's actually worked. I fixed it. Why couldn't I have fixed this when I was streaming the other day? I have no idea how I fixed this. Alright. It's fixed. It's actually fixed. I didn't think I was going to fix it, actually. I was going into this with, like, a negative mindset. Thinking it's not going to change anything, because I tried just about everything when I was streaming, and yeah, now it's actually working. Okay, I'm excited now. That's quite cool. What else we got here? We're going to keep that setting the same, because I feel like it looks really good. Screen size, yeah, that's good. Force color range input, or output, I should say. Force full color range, okay. Is that going to look any better? Who knows? Man, it looks a lot better than when I was streaming it now. I should have finished the game when the screen was looking like this. That's disappointing I didn't find this out sooner, but hey, I'm just stoked that I managed to find a way of doing this. Because the whole time the HUD was like cut off. Right, so things that I gotta say about this console. Good things, alright? I love the way it emulates. I love how it runs so smoothly. I also love how it emulates the sound. I think it sounds fantastic. Allow me to experiment with the sound with you guys. I'm just going to lower my mic and turn up the game volume so you can notice the difference. Alright, so let's try out some more filters. Go across one more. We've got Super Eagle. Not sure what this does, but let's have a look. Just kind of blurs things a little more. Not really too noticeable. Like I said, I think it looks a bit better on these games than it does, like, the 8-bit era. But, yeah, it's not as bad. It's kind of forgivable. Scale 2 times? Let's see what that looks like. I don't really see... Is it just doubled the pixel? I don't know. LQ2X? Okay, let's see what this one does. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of wobbles the lines around some stuff. It's not really... I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of that. HQ2X. Okay. I have no idea what these mean. No, I'm not noticing a difference. It just looks just as blurry as the other one. What else we got? None. Yeah, I think I like that one the best. Just nice raw pixels. Yeah, I like that one. Right. I think now we can talk about game-specific settings. If you go into game menu, you can change the game-specific settings. Here you can also do, like, cheats or save copies to the Retron. I mean, you can save that. Are you sure you want to copy the save game to the Retron 5? It will overwrite the current save game, yada yada. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Now you've got me questioning it. Do I want to do that? I don't know. Cheats, there's nothing on here you need an SD card for, which, you know, I haven't really used. As far as I'm aware, I'm at the, like, there's no hardware updates, no console, like, firmware updates, I should say. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's all good. If you go to your game-specific settings, here you can't really change anything. But the Game Boy games, you can actually do a little bit of customization. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so we are currently playing Wario Land for the Nintendo Game Boy. I like to set mine as like the default old school Game Boy green. I quite like this look. It just has a lot of nostalgia for me because I played the heck out of my Game Boy when I was a kid. So we'll go back to the in-game menu, go to main menu, and go to game menu, go to game specific settings, and here we have a couple of extra options. We've got hardware type, you got Game Boy Color, Super Game Boy, Auto. We'll try Game Boy Color, shall we? This won't really matter. We'll just go to Auto. We don't really want it to be green, because it doesn't matter what one we choose, it'll always be green, so... Alright, we're using Game Boy Color. And this is what it looks like. Okay. Hey, what would it look like with some ugly filters? Let's check that out. Ugh. Ugh, it's horrible. Ugh. Okay, that looks really gross. Alright, it's not too bad. It's still pretty grot though. Alright, we were looking at the in-game specific settings. If we go to... You can change it from... if we go to Super Game Boy... What's this going to look like? Not much difference there. Yeah, not much difference. Go to... Which one have we got? Game Boy, here's where you really notice a difference when you change these ones. So original Game Boy is the one we had where it was green. Original Game Boy Advance SP, blue. We'll just go blue just to see a difference here, because everything we've looked at so far looks the bloody same. Right, blue. Okay. Wario is still kind of like a pinkish red, peach color. Okay. We go... Change... You can go brown, dark blue, dark brown, dark green, grayscale, which is just kind of like Game Boy Pocket, as you can see. It looks very Game Boy Pocket-esque. This is also quite nostalgic for me because I did get a Game Boy Pocket. I never got a Game Boy Color, but I had a Game Boy Pocket, and it was really cool. Right, what else have we got here? Let's have another look at the colors. We've got grayscale, green, inverted. Ooh, that'll look gross. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, okay. That looks nasty. Yuck, I couldn't play like that. I'd probably have a freaking aneurysm. So if we go to game-specific settings again, change it to orange, pastel mix. Okay, that looks kind of cool. Beep 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 beep. Oh, sorry, I love this game. I need to play this more. Red and yellow and auto. So we'll just change it back to original Game Boy. I love that. So yeah, that's the settings for the Game Boy anyway. Another thing that I almost forgot to mention is that unfortunately the Retron 5 doesn't support lock-on technology. So if you insert your Sonic & Knuckles cartridge and then you put in your Sonic 3 cart, unfortunately, it doesn't register that you have Sonic & Knuckles and Sonic 3. So this is really frustrating. I have heard of people doing sort of like if you've got an SD card, you can patch Sonic 3 or Sonic Knuckles and somehow combine the ROM. You can load it through this. I'm not entirely sure how that works, or if that works, but yeah. It's a real pain because I shouldn't have to fight around like that. I've got the two cartridges right here, you know? So, yeah, that's just something else to bear in mind. If you go into the game, it doesn't register it at all. I'll just reset the game from scratch. Sega. Right. Yep, still Sonic & Knuckles. Great game, though, but yeah, still not Sonic & Knuckles and Sonic 3. It's a real shame. So, what are my final thoughts on the Retron 5 console? Well, if you're like me and you've got a bunch of cartridges laying around from when you were younger that you just want to chuck into a newer console and have it displayed in beautiful high definition, then I would say yes, this console is definitely for you. I will stress though that Duck Hunt doesn't work on the Mario and Duck Hunt cartridge. If I know like a lot of you will know this, but there will be some people out there that are just kind of getting into retro collecting that may or may not have played Duck Hunt when they were younger and think, oh, you know, Retron 5, that plays all the old school games. Yeah, unfortunately, these games requiring a light gun do not work on a flat screen TV. So, yeah, I'm sure other people have covered this, but I just thought I'd stress that because, yeah, I didn't want people making that mistake. And it's a real shame because I'm really nostalgic about Duck Hunt as well, and I wish there was another way that we could play it. But unfortunately, the Retron 5 ain't it. It still plays Super Mario Bros. Damned well, though. So, yeah, it does things quite well, but it also does things not so well. So it all depends on what you want to use it for, fellow viewer. Only you can be the judge of that. There's only a few things that kind of grind my gears about it, but, you know, it's not bad. I don't regret my purchase at all. I really enjoy the time I've spent with it. Like I said, I've had it for about 1.5 years, probably just over. And yeah, I'm having a blast. It's a good console. Like if you've got kids or whatever and you've brought them up to enjoy retro games, you're gonna have this for a long time. Okay, you're gonna be able to pass it down like a family heirloom. along with your old school cartridges, and so it's pretty cool for something like that. And if you don't have kids, then you know it's cool if you just have these games that you've had lying around since you were a kid, and you just want to be able to jam them out. So it's definitely good for something like that. But at the end of the day, it's entirely up to you. I just love Super Mario Bros. It's the kind of game that, it's like a comfort food for me. Like, I just chuck it on every once in a while, just jam it out. It's one that I've played since I was a kid and extremely love to this day. So, that's about that. I hope you've got something out of this video, and you guys take care. It's a frickin' mad world out there.